think it's good to become a multi-orgasmic man, to have full body male multiple orgasms and to release when you want to, and it makes you feel good and your partner feel good. Because one of the things that I think is something that a lot of people aren't aware of is that a man's semen has over 20 different beneficial ingredients for his partner.
So do you ever envy those so-called hashtag couples goals?
Well, when you first fall in love with someone, you get butterflies every time you see them.
You lust them.
You're infatuated with them.
You want to be with them all the time, like best friends.
Do you want that to last forever?
Together, let's discover what it takes to say a massive yes to all the above through our topical discussions, our world-renowned guests that will help guide the way to a happier, sexier, and fun-loving relationship.
We're not doctors or therapists. We are just two normal individuals who have had many ups and downs in our 23-year relationship.
And counting.
We've amassed our own wisdom over the years, but we're still learning, just like you.
Nina and I believe you can have it all and still live your best lives, as long as you're willingly and consistently discover each other in new ways. And that right there is what the show is all about.
We're Nina.
And Roger.
And this is the Erotic Show.
Yeah, baby. Smack it.
Smack that.
There you go. Well, my name is Roger. And I'm here with my unbelievable Valentine, Miss Nina Kako.
Yeah.
26?
26 Valentines together. Can you guys believe it?
That's why we're the head over heel show.
We are the head over heel show. And we are very excited. You know why? Because today we have our best guest, a guest we've had on the show many, many times. Susan Bratton's here today, you guys. And I'm so excited because she's amazing. She's so much fun.
And I was saying, it's a perfect timing to bring her in on the episode because we had her on Valentine's Day last year. And, most of you guys have New Year's resolutions. You want to look better. You want your relationship to be better. You want to have better sex or more intimacy. You want to feel a little bit closer to your partner. Well, there's many ways to feel closer to your partner, do things that they're interested in, do blah, 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 cook, clean, hug, kiss. But intimacy is the most... I don't know, the thing that you can be the closest to somebody with is with your intimacy.
I think it's the most important part of the relationship, 100%.
So you're vulnerable, you're most of the time naked or very close to, and you can't get any closer to somebody. I think that's what our humans are meant to be, like or any living thing is reproduce because they all find ways to do it. So, let's have fun doing it.
Yes, absolutely. And today we are thrilled to have Susan Bratton on. Like we mentioned, she's been on the show a few times before. I think she's the only person that's been on here multiple times because she has so much insight and she enlightens us so much every time she's on the show that we personally learn from her. Mm-hmm. So I was going to say she's a leading intimacy expert to millions, and she has helped countless individuals deepen their relationship.
Including us.
100%, yeah. And she is a personal growth through books, talks, workshops globally. She is incredible. You guys have to listen to the episode entire of it because she has so many tricks up her sleeves.
It'll open your eyes. It opens our eyes. And we think that we're very sexual. We think that we have a lot of, like she says, playgasms and all that kind of stuff. But then you start talking to her like, oh, yeah, I'm not that advanced. I think...
Yeah, you think you know a lot. But once you talk to her, like, I don't know anything. And then you can't... Once you learn it, you can't unlearn it. You want to have more and more and more of her wisdom and her knowledge. And to be honest, we've benefited from her many times. That's why she's on the show. She's been on the show a few times. So we're a little selfish in that aspect. But yeah, so join us for an enlightening conversation that will give you fresh insight in the world of intimacy.
It's such a great show. We'll have you coming over and over and over again to listen. Listen. Welcome, Miss Susan Bratton. Let's get this done.
All right. Well, Susan, welcome to the show again for the many, many times that you've been on.
This is 3 times now, so it's like a threesome.
Ooh, I like it. Well, we've been threatening to do that, haven't we?
Absolutely. I made you come on the show multiple times.
Ooh, you make me come over and over
There you go.
and over again, Raj.
Oh boy, this is going to be an interesting show. Should I leave you guys alone?
Oh no, it's a threesome, Nina.
And right. You don't even have to say an
threesome.
intro. We just have to say
We really are thrilled to have you here because every time you come on the show, you teach us many, many things. And we actually, Raj and I personally try a few of those things, and we're like, Susan will be really proud of us right now.
I am always proud of you.
Help other people, not just us, and how to live their best life, their intimate life, and their being that is Valentine's Day. People need some tricks and ideas because especially as married couple, we don't remember these things. So
and just so people know, we've had Suzanne on quite a few times, and I found ourselves after sex sometimes Nina saying your name.
See?
I don't know. So,
that is fact. That is a fact. That's that.
so I think people should listen.
I love it. Well, I want people to be screaming my name in pleasure as much as possible. So thank you.
That's what your purpose was when you start all of this. You wanted the entire world to say, Susan, Susan.
Yes.
I love it. I'm so excited for today. So let's talk about why you're here today.
Well, I've been thinking a lot. Thank you for having me on your Valentine's Day show again. I love being your Valentine's Day guest. And I've been thinking a lot about how Valentine's Day is a time when we want to make things really special and very romantic for our partners. And I have been watching the socials, and some women are saying, just skip the flowers and candy and, spank me. Or, no, I like the chocolates and I want the flowers. And I also want to have other fun times. And so I was thinking, what would my advice be? And I think it's flowers and candy are so easy and they're sensual. One of the reasons that flowers and candy are a part of romance are that they taste delicious, they smell delicious, they look beautiful, they're a symbolic visual representation of your love. And so I think that's really nice. Equally as much, I also know that for many men, not all, but many men, they love lingerie. They love to see their woman in beautiful, sexy outfits. I mean, Nina, you are the queen of beautiful, sexy outfits with your gorgeous face, your stunning body, your incredible dress. And even though Roger gets that all the time, he still wants it on Valentine's Day too, And so I think sometimes having like a super sexy lingerie outfit, something maybe with lots of strap. I'm wearing lingerie for you right now. It's kind of like the video's pretty close and you can't see. I just look like I got some straps on. 100%. I'm glad I did an upper body workout today for you guys. But
as usual.
But I think the sluttier the better for Valentine's Day. And something red because it's Valentine's Day is just a nice gesture. So beautiful red roses, some delicious salted caramels, a lovely special bottle of wine, some red sexy lingerie, candlelight. These are pretty good basics, and I don't think you should skip them. I think it's worth making the effort. It's so easy to make the effort that why wouldn't you? So I think often, the 5 love languages, I know you guys do, everybody knows about them. There's a thing I don't like about them, and that is that I feel like people, when they hear the 5 love languages, they think to themselves, I have to choose what my love language is.
Right.
And I'm like, oh, hell no, I want them all. Give me all 5 all the time. I like word, I like that, I like that. Give it all to me. And I think that's kind of how Valentine's Day is too. It's like, yeah, we want the flowers, we want the chocolate, we want the wine, we want the lingerie, we want the music, we want the candles, we want the romance, and we want something else. We don't have to choose. You don't have to choose between flowers and chocolate and lingerie and something else. You can have it all. And
I love that. Why not have it all?
Have it all. It's your love life. It's your sex life. It's what keeps you young and connected and healthy and happy. It's fueling the thing that's fueling your sexual vitality, which is fueling your life force.
Exactly.
So why not do all the things? So that was one thing that I wanted to say to kind of start off. And then the second thing that I have been doing, and I think we talked about this on the last segment, and that is, do you remember my sex life bucket list?
Yes.
Yep. So the sex life bucket list, for those of you who are just tuning in to meet me for the first time on Nina and Roger's show, who are just starting to get head over heels, one of the things that I have been doing for the last 20 years is teaching passionate lovemaking techniques, erotic and sensual pleasuring techniques, which means orgasm skills, oral pleasuring, orgasmic intercourse techniques, and bedroom communication skills, how to know what you want, how to ask for it confidently, how to have sexy conversations in the bedroom, how to tell dirty stories, how to moan, how to do all the things that make you a better lover, be a better lover. And then I realized, and I think I told you this, that what I really think people also want are these ideas for erotic play dates, things that couples can do to learn new things together in the bedroom. So for those of you who are just kind of getting introduced to the idea of erotic play dates, the way that I think about them, and I learned these from my mentor, Dr. Patty Taylor, who taught me the expanded orgasm practice. She taught me the essentials of seduction, which means moving your lover toward more pleasure. She really told me that your sex life can keep getting better and better your whole life long. Your orgasmic potential can continue to improve and expand. You can come better, more different ways, harder, longer, deeper, all of those things. And that it can just keep getting better and better and better the more that you learn and the more that you do and the more that you try. So I put together, probably now about a year ago, because I did it on your show when I first came out with it, I came out with something called the Sex Life Bucket List, which is 48 erotic play dates that you can essentially, and it's for those of you listening, it's at sexlifebucketlist.com. So what I'm telling you is free and you can download it. It's a PDF with 8 pages of 48 different things, and you mark them. And A, if they're like, oh yeah, this for sure is on my sex life bucket list. B is, it's not on my list, but if Roger wanted to do it, I would do it with him. And C is, or Nina. And C is, it's not for me right now, but the things that I used to look at and go, that's freaky, are now like, ooh, turns out I'm a freak.
That's what I was talking about at the beginning of the show. We have tried some of those things, and I'm like, babe, thanks for taking all those notes because this has been working really well for us. Like you said, the older we get, the more experience we get, the more we realize how much we're missing. There's so much we're missing that we didn't try as in our 20s and 30s. We're like, now Susan is coming on the show and she's brightening up our, she's making us intelligent sexually.
So which ones did you try?
Oh,
few of them. They're kind of R-rated.
Good.
Yeah, everything that was R-rated, that's what we tried.
Yeah, the stuff that we're like, ooh, we would never do it. We end up doing it, and we actually loved it. And we're like, fuck, she's amazing. We're gonna have her back on the show. She teaches more. But yes, that bucket list, we had printed it out, and we tried a couple of things. I'm not sure exactly what we did, but there was something that we did on that bucket list.
So there's a couple on the bucket list that I think are really fun for Valentine's Day. What I want to do is I want to encourage your viewers and listeners to get the bucket list and get ideas for things you might want to do starting on Valentine's Day. And then continuing, keeping a schedule, if you will, a loose schedule, like Next Thursday, let's try to find my G spot, or let's try an expanded orgasm practice, or I want to try the me breath to become a multi-orgasmic man, or I want to do orgasmic cross training and activate my vulva and have different kinds of orgasms. Oh, I want to try a vibrating penis ring. I want to try whatever. I want to do a lingerie photo shoot. And that's one of the ones that I think is a really good Valentine's Day one because you're already in sexy lingerie.
Mm.
And so you set up some lighting and you get out your camera and you put on the sexy music and you straighten up the bed, or you get the chair, or you do it against the window, or whatever, you like, whatever has good lighting. Lighting is so important.
Right.
You can do video of yourselves. And you can also take turns taking pictures, taking selfies, trying things. You can do some POV. And one of the things that there is available now, have you seen Ray-Ban Meta glasses?
Yes. We see them online, but we've never tried them.
So you can wear them and then take 1-minute videos, and you can see point of view. So like Roger could be orally pleasuring you, going down on you, and you could be watching him and telling him how good it feels and how sexy it is. And you could film it. You could do a 1-minute clip. So there's new technology that's also really fun to use. So I think that things like that can be, does that sound fun?
Yeah, it sounds like a lot of fun.
Exactly. So I think things like that can be really fun because then you get to see yourselves together.
Mm.
And so many people are shooting themselves having sex now. I mean, there's so much user-generated, love-making content that it can be really fun to, film yourselves making love and then put it up on the big screen and watch it later with a little popcorn, a popcorn and a glass of Chardonnay or whatever you want. So I think that's another really fun one. Another thing that you can do is you can buy each other sex toys for Valentine's Day. Fun Factory is one of the brands I work with, and they put together a thing where you pick 4 different toys and you get everything at a discount. It's like a bundled thing. And I thought that was a cute idea. The time has come for couples to be giving each other sex toys as gifts. Oh, here, baby, I got you this, G-spot wand, or I got you this prostate massager.
Actually, one of the tricks that we tried was the wand that you had mentioned one last time the
Vim
bucket list. It was a challenge or whatever it was that we put it on and you leave it there, and it was just like one orgasm after another, wouldn't end. And I was like, is this what Susan was talking about? Like,
she was developing a stutter.
That's so cute.
Intense, but amazing. As you let it be, let it go and relax. And you just all these different orgasms. And I was like, this is unbelievable. And once you're aware of these things, Susan, as a couple, you can't unlearn it. You're like, well, what else can you do? What else can you learn? It's such a fun thing to do with your 48 bucket list because there's so many fun things on there. So I think I really highly recommend that for all the couples.
And it's great for men too, because I mean, I don't know how many times you see it in your relationship. You see it even on pornos and stuff like that. We're sitting like, oh, I'm almost there, but she's never almost there. Like there's still a lot more work to do. She's not always quite there. So those things kind of help that almost there get there.
Yeah, you get over the hump.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah, I like that. And then, like Nina was saying, you learn how to ride your orgasm. You learn how to get into orgasm and then stay in orgasm, and then have extended orgasms and then expanded orgasms. And the way that I think about that is a lot of women are working to have one orgasm. Then they get to that point where they can have when they are like, okay, now I feel that experience. Now I want to have multiple orgasms. And they'll think, wow, I had 3 orgasms during my lovemaking date. And I'm like, fantastic. And then I teach them, now you can take every one of those orgasms and you can take that moment of time, that moment of climax, and you can stretch it out like taffy, like time just expands. And then once you learn how to kind of be in orgasm, where you're holding this long climax and you're just feeling like you're coming and coming and coming, then you can begin to stack those climaxes and you can go from an extended orgasm to what are called expanded orgasms. Sometimes I jokingly call them quantum gasms because they actually are not just longer, but each one gets more intense and powerful. So you just keep climbing and climbing and climbing and climbing. And the only
when do you
thing
stop?
that makes,
Because sometimes those extended, sorry, I stopped you, but those extended orgasms, they climb so much, and you're like, okay, how long? Because you don't want to stop, but you're like, at some point you got to stop. So I want to learn not to be able to stop you because they're extended, but I want them to climb up more and more. So
yeah.
how do you know when to stop?
Well, I think what you do is your body will naturally hit a moment where it's like, ah. And the way that orgasm works, you toggle the sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system. And so what happens is you climb and you have a really good come, and then you take a little rest. And then the next climb up feels even better. So it's really about, it's like a stair step. Arousal and orgasm are stairs. You don't shoot straight up, have an orgasm, and then you're done. You want to climb the stairs, and the stairs get higher and more intense and longer. And so you come to a completed orgasm, take a rest, and then your nervous system will reset a bit, and then you can go up again. And when you're using pleasure tools, if you do a lot of really good yoni massage or vulva massage before you start using the toys, it really gets the blood flowing into the vulva and the vagina and the clitoral structures. And then as that plumps up and gets engorged, pretty much everything makes you have orgasms. The secret to coming really well and really long is engorgement, which is blood flow, which is basically like a lady boner. Men have these 3 straight tubes in their penis, these 3 straight erectile tissue tubes, and they get filled with blood very quickly because they need to lock off and be full of blood to hold a firm erection.
Yeah.
Women, on the other hand, we have the same 3 tubes, if you will, but they're in these nooks and crannies in our vulva. So the blood comes to the pelvic bowl and it flows into these erectile tissue structures. And it takes about 15 or 20 minutes to really get it in there. And then once it gets in there, it kind of gets all plumped up and everything is big and mushy and plump and, fluffy. And there's more surface area that sends more signals of pleasure to the brain. So the coming feels more incredible. And so I think that's a real secret. A lot of people think about foreplay and sex. They think, okay, foreplay is what I am doing to get to sex, and sex is intercourse. But it's all sex. And the more of the things that you can do to get the blood flowing into the vulva, the better everything will feel and the more orgasms she will have.
Okay, that's for women. Like, it takes us a long time to get that point. How can we do that for men? Because we would like them to take a long time with their boners before they come too, right? So how do we, it's true. Like, I know that you have techniques for that. I know that. We've talked about it.
I found an old wine cork kind of thing, and I just kind of handed it in. Eventually, it ends up like a champagne bottle, but
That's so cute. Well, you're going to pop Roger's cork, I see. So really for men, they have to stop thinking that their orgasm is connected to their release, their ejaculation. They're 2 separate systems in the body, which is why when a woman's G-spot is pleasured, she doesn't, and she ejaculates, which all women can do. She doesn't really sometimes even feel like it was an orgasm, but she has a release. It's because she's more used to her system being separated. And so once a man understands, oh, wow, you mean I don't have to ejaculate to have an orgasm? I can have orgasms without ejaculation. Then he can begin to separate orgasm from ejaculation. And then he can start to have full body orgasms or energy orgasms that feel just as good as the orgasms he gets from releasing. And that way, he can have a whole bunch of orgasms. He's a multi-orgasmic man, male, multiple orgasms. And then at the end, he can ejaculate if he wants to. And there's so much conversation on the internet right now about men feeling like they shouldn't ejaculate because it gets, it like releases their chi, their masculine energy, and it makes them feel like they're depleted or they're sad or what have you. And I always say to guys, I think it's good to become a multi-orgasmic man, to have full body male multiple orgasms and to release when you want to, and it makes you feel good and your partner feel good. Because one of the things that I think is something that a lot of people aren't aware of is that a man's semen has over 20 different beneficial ingredients for his partner. The other thing that I think is important about ejaculation is that if you look at the data, men who ejaculate more frequently have lower incidence of prostate cancer later in life than men who don't. The other thing, I like to say to guys, if ejaculating makes you feel bad, don't do it. If ejaculating makes you feel good, do it. Yeah. Everybody's different and on a bell curve. But one of the things that Tim and I have been doing recently is that we have been using the Aneros Vice 2. That is a prostate massager that he puts it in for me. I don't need to put it in for him. He just does it himself. He gets some Uber lube. That's the lube that we like for, any kind of like backdoor play for him. And I've got some new backdoor play for her stuff that I want to tell you about as well. And I'm going to send you some. Okay. But the backdoor play for men, this prostate massager from Aneros, I'll spell it for you. And I'm not making any money on this. I'm just telling you about it. Yeah. It's Aneros, Aneros. And it is a vibrating prostate tool that goes in the rectum. It's held in very easily by your body, and your body it plays with it, very similar to putting a jade egg inside a female's vagina. It kind of like holds it in there, and it kind of moves a little bit when you move, and it's vibrating a little bit. And that is super good for prostate health. And prostate health is one of the most important things that men need to worry about in the long term. And that's why I like Roger, because you're so good at working out. It's very beneficial because you're moving and you're getting your blood flow moving all the time. But for a lot of guys, and because you're out and about, you don't have as sedentary a job as a lot of guys do. Mm-hmm. And so you're moving a lot, which is keeping you healthy because you're getting blood flowing through that prostate, which is a gland and a muscle. And it's the muscle, it's the gland that actually makes the semen. And then the testicles manufacture the sperm, and the prostate that comes down and gets mixed together when you ejaculate. But the prostate, also the bladder, the urethra runs through it. And so a lot of men as they age, they have urinary issues, nighttime urination problems, dribbles and spurts, difficulty evacuating. And so using a prostate tool for pleasure can be really, really healthy. It is so healthy and pleasurable because you get to have these P-spot orgasms. Right. And so if you put it in and then you give Nina the remote control, it has 18 different patterns on it. And then it has this little button at the top that's like a turbocharger. I call it the zhuzh. I give him a zhuzh. And I hold the remote control. And he gives me a yoni massage, a vulva massage. And we have been testing a couple of tools that work really well for accelerating and increasing engorgement. And so we start our lovemaking dates with him holding me being held. We have this technique we call the soulmate embrace, a long, relaxing hold, some kissing, full body touch. And then he'll pop that little narrow spice too in there and give me the remote control. And he'll use these massage tools on my vulva. And that brings all my blood flow in. And when he gives me extra good orgasms, I give him a little zhuzh, or I change the vibration pattern. And so then I don't even have to use verbal feedback to tell him what he just did felt incredible, because it's really nice. I haven't met very many men who are like, men love when we moan and we come for them. Mm. They will give up their own pleasure for our pleasure. They just want us to be so happy.
Right.
And but when you're like, oh, I just came. Oh, I came again. Oh, that was a good come. That kind of breaks the like flow a little bit for me. Mm. So I don't mind the moaning, but sometimes with moaning, you can't necessarily tell if you've actually orgasmed or not. And when you learn to be a good comer with practice, and you're coming and coming and coming and coming, it's really nice to have this feedback device where he's like, oh, the pattern just changed. What I did, she just liked what I did. Okay. Oh, I'll remember to do that some more. So he gets this like gauge of what's feeling incredible to you without you having to tell him. And he gets these little like little zhuzhes while he's doing it. You're getting him healthy. You're getting his prostate turned on. You're giving him P-spot orgasms. You're giving him feedback without having to talk and get out of your, cum brain. You can just keep coming and coming and coming. He's happy. She's happy. I mean, I just think this whole idea of having toys that you use for yoni pleasuring and prostate pleasuring is just, we live in the 21st century. Let's use that stuff. Like, let's get these toys for each other for both health and pleasure. So that's one of the fun kind of erotic play dates that I think you guys might want to try sometime soon.
There you go.
There you go. We're going to try them 100%. But what would you say to the couple that don't do this, that this is a taboo to them, that are used to having a very soft love making? Do you suggest them starting like something like you were saying, soul love making, very, very soft, very delicate, and then get erotic?
Or if you look at it in a way that New Year's just passed, everybody's got New Year's resolutions. They want to get more fit, want to get this. But I'm sure there's some couples that say, I want to have a much better relationship.
More intimate
relationship, want to start that up again. And these things that you're saying, like this, like the bucket list was a great one. I'm gonna actually tag your last couple episodes into this in the show notes here.
Thank you.
Go back and listen to them, because that was a great ideas. I mean, you asked us a bunch of questions and we went through it. And
I asked you all these. I did the bucket list with you.
I remember now. When you had said it, I'm like, that was our last episode. So that's a great idea, but there's got to be a lot of, I'm sure you got a lot of ideas for people just kind of to re-spark that up, because there's some levels that are up here and some levels are just starting down here. So
we've graduated some of your levels. We're not but the couples that have not started the erotic part of their relationship, how do you suggest them start? Like, what do they want to do? Yeah, restart.
Well, I think, first of all, I don't think what I just told you made the assumption that was advanced, using a prostate tool. If I were your doctor and I said, I'm very worried because you have prostate cancer in your family, and I have this device that you insert, it's very easy to get in, and it's very pleasurable, but it's going to prevent you. It's not going to, I can't guarantee that, but it could prevent you from having BPH, urinary issues, incontinence, prostate cancer, and I want you to start using it. Mm. And then I was your doctor and I said to your wife, one of the things that I'm noticing as you age in this gynecological appointment is that you're beginning to have vaginal laxity and atrophy. I'm seeing your loss of tissue in the labia majora and minora. How are your orgasms? Well, it's harder and harder to have them these days. Okay, good. That's what I was thinking. Well, I want to let you know that with a lot of good massage that brings in blood flow, you can re-stimulate that tissue and get that blood flowing in there. It's kind of like exercise for your vulva. You're going to be getting blood flow in there, and the blood is an oxygenating and healing modality. And it feels good, and it's going to help you with orgasm, with lubrication, with incontinence. And so I want you to start using some of these tools that I'm recommending. So, you could use them together. He could insert the massager and he could use this tool on your vulva for you, and it would feel pleasurable and it would be excellent for your health. Would you think any different if it was a doctor telling you versus versus a sexpert? It's like, okay, if that's who needs to tell you that, but are they taught that in medical school? Oh, hell no. They're like, take a Viagra and use some aloe vera in your vagina. They don't even give you estrogen unless you beg them for it. The allopathic medical community is not going to recommend you use pleasure toys to keep yourself healthy. But I can tell you at 62, my vulva is so juicy and luscious and orgasmic and beautiful and pleasurable. And my husband's penis is rock hard and fabulous and veiny and good, and his prostate is solid. And so really it's just like anything else. You get the tools, you open the packages, you learn how to use it. The first 3 times you feel like you're not sure what you're doing. You're fumbling a little bit, you're learning the ropes. And by the 4th time, you're like, I am so glad that we did this. It really helped when she put it in the perspective of being physically healthful.
Yes.
And now I don't feel like I'm doing anything wrong. I actually feel like I'm smarter than all my friends. So I guess that's how I would answer that question. I don't know if that helped.
Yeah,
No,
absolutely.
totally
No,
helps.
you said it in a great way, because we get that a lot where, you talk to a trainer and you see that the trainer tells you something that everybody else has been telling you forever, to work harder, to do whatever, and you listen to them because they're the doctor in your case. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Of course. I totally get it, and there's health benefits to it. So people
I agree.
people are scared of that, and when you said it, my ears kind of went down like my dog would, like as if I got in trouble. They go, "Oh, you're gonna do that to me?" Like, you know what I mean?
That's what I mean.
You're going to love it.
Yeah.
The average couples are not used to that. So that would be a great way to introduce that. Say, hey, let's try different little toys and start upgrading our sex life a little bit.
There you go.
Yes.
So I'm the one that's going to develop the stutter now. No, but this is great because, like I said, I mean, New Year's resolutions, people want to have a better relationship. Why? What else can make it better? Because obviously they both want to have sex. They both need it, because, I mean, you've never seen somebody that's grumpy and somebody say, "Oh, they're having way too much sex."
Yeah.
Everybody needs to have that kind of stimulation in their life. So,
Well, there's that expression, you need to get laid. You haven't gotten laid in a while.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what I'm saying.
Grumpy as hell.
Yeah. Yeah.
What else do you have for us? We want more erotic dates.
Yes.
So we could try that.
So another one that I also like, and my name is Susan Bratton, Bratton. So I really like bratty things.
I was waiting for that. I'm like, what is she going to say? What context is she going to put that into? Okay,
all right,
got you.
Let's see what bratty things are.
I'm a brat. So one of the things that I like, and it was cute, I recently spoke in Los Angeles at a show called The Vibe Show. And it was primarily a business-to-business show for people, and they were mostly women, who owned stores, pleasure stores, sex shops.
Yeah.
And they came to this event to look at new tools and toys and products they could sell in their stores. And these are stores in, rural Pennsylvania and all,
Oh, wow.
all kinds of, our town kinds of places.
Yeah.
And couples come in and they're looking for new things. And I spoke on orgasmic cross training. I spoke about essentially having the 8 types of toys for the vulva and the 4 types of toys for the penis owner, and which ones I recommended, because when you use different styles of toys, you activate different points in your brain.
Okay.
So if I touch your labia, outer labia, that's going to light up a different location in your head than if I touched the hood of your clitoris or the entrance to your vagina. If I touched Roger's penis on the tip versus his perineum versus his prostate, it would light up different parts of his brain. And the way sex works, you guys have heard your brain is your biggest sex organ, right?
Yeah.
And so you have to get the signals from down there to up here. And the more of them you get going, the more pleasure you feel.
Okay.
So for many women, they have one spot that they like, or maybe 2 spots that they like, and the other spots, they might feel numb, they might feel shame, they might feel pain, not pleasure. But with these tools, you can actually stimulate all these areas and move from numb to pleasure, from pain to pleasure, from shame to pleasure. And so the more of them that you get activated, the more pleasure you feel, the more that your brain, whose job, the organ actually, the reason it's the biggest sex organ is that it's actually processing it and telling you, that feels good, that feels good. Oh, that does, that does, that does, that does, that does, that does, that does. That's what your brain is doing. So by activating the neural pathways, the mind-body connection, the more pleasure you have for all people, both penis people and vulva people. So I was talking about this, and I met a woman from a company called Sports Sheets. And they are very similar. They've got those Liberator's the other company that makes them, those blankets, those waterproof blankets that you can throw down on the bed.
Yeah.
So you don't have to worry about getting lube or ejaculating on your bedding or what have you. It lets you be more free to not worry. Oh, we can't move around because we might squirt the lube on something or what have you. And so I started talking to Kelly at Sports Sheet, and I was in her booth. I looked, and there was a whole rack on there, and it was their collection called the Brat Collection. And I'm like, tell me more. This is right up my alley. I'm literally and figuratively a brat. It's such a cute line of products because it's like cute little red cuffs and blindfolds and little ticklers and little paddles. Little paddle says brat on it, little floggers and things like that. And what that's really called is sensation play and restraint. And those kinds of things can be super fun on Valentine's Day. So like getting your partner on a Liberator wedge that has the little snaps so her like her ankles are tied in, or her arms can only go so far, or putting the blindfold on her and tickling her and teasing her and running feathers across her body. Some people like to have that very safe wax that's, lover's wax, it's like a candle they can pour on. That's like sensation. It's not going to burn you. Don't use regular candle wax.
No, we've had
bought some before. Yeah, she had bought some I guess play candles.
Yes.
Yeah, play candles. And so I think that's another really fun kind of a thing to do. Some people call that kink, or it's a fetish. These are very, very, very normal things. They're not really that kinky, and they're not like a crazy fetish at all. They are so normal. We like to, when we're with a lover we trust, we like them to take charge and deliver sensation and turn on and, tell us we've been a bad, bad girl and give us a spanking. And I think the most important thing, if you're going to do spanking, and I think there's kind of like this ascension model. Here we go up the stairs again. Everything with sex is really a stairway to heaven. The very first thing to learn is how to spank with hands and where to spank on the fanny with hands and to give a lot of feedback. And this goes back to, what are erotic play dates? Erotic play dates are learning experiences. They're not, we're going to do this thing and have super hot sex. They're like, we're going to try this thing. We're going to try to get that thing up Roger's butt. We're going to try to, we're going to try to tie Nina up to this wedge and blindfold her.
Drink set up for them.
Oh,
for Valentines.
It's a date where you're not expecting it to be like you're consumed with desire and, it's more of a date where you're like, we're going to try a thing and we're going to talk our way through it, and we're going to give each other a lot of feedback, and we're just going to see how it goes. That's an erotic play date. It's different than a lovemaking date. A lovemaking date is, we're going to get carried away. I'm going to just like grind my tongue down your throat and take you over. I'm going to squeeze you, and I'm going to feel your biceps, and I'm going to ride you cowgirl style, and I'm going to scream and come and have a great time. I'm just going to have my way with you, or whatever, or vice versa. That's a lovemaking date. An erotic play date is, okay, all right, how is this too tight around your ankle? Okay, how did it feel right there when I spanked you? Okay, now how did it feel when I went right there? Oh, I like that. Oh, you could do that even. Oh, I liked it. I didn't like the slappy one, but I loved it when you gave me a firm one right on my butt right there. That was hot. That turned me on. And so that's what an erotic play date is. It's communication opportunity to learn new things, because anything you try, I want you to try it 3 times. So the first time you try it, you're going to be like, we didn't know what we were doing and it was just okay, but we could see the potential. The second one was like, we're getting a little more comfortable and it was actually kind of fun. The third time you do it, you're like, I think we're getting a handle on it and I had a great orgasm. It was incredible. And actually, I'm really looking forward to doing it again. And the fourth time, you're like, we got mastery. That was friggin' hot. Holy cow, was that sexy? And so it's just how it goes. That's what you have to do.
That's a great tip. Trying it at least 3 times before giving up and just see how it is. It's awesome. And I also want to let couples know that they should think of Valentine's as like a Halloween, for example. You don't dress like that all year round. You do something like extravagant for Halloween. Why not do the same thing for Valentine's? Get really erotic. Try new things. Try things with your partner that you've never tried. Yes, get erotic. I think lovemaking is for every day, and I think erotic is for like days like that, special days.
Absolutely, and it opens up stuff, like you said. If you try it the first time, and you try it the second time, third time, next thing you know, you're charging that as much as you're charging your phone. So,
right, exactly. The charger's plugged into the charger beside my bed, Rod, it's one of those ones, I got it on Amazon, and it has like 4 USB things and 2 plugs here and another plug there. And I think there's one down here. Like, I turned that 2 banger into a 27 banger because I got a million things plugged into that sucker. I'm always charging a million things.
I love it. I think that's how it should be. And then for you, and to your testament, you're 62. You're having an amazing sex life. I don't think this should end. I don't think there's an age limit to how much fun you should have with your partner.
It keeps getting better,
right? Because you're getting more experience.
Yeah, it's never too late to start again. Some people have been together for 10, 15, 20 years, and they think that this is what they have. This is this is the way it should. It's been, and this is the way it's gonna be. But you can revive all that stuff up. You can bring it back, or think of the things that you want to do. Like the perfect example is, like you said, is your bucket list. If they listen to that episode and they listen to all the questions you asked us, and they think about those things for themselves, and they, take little steps into getting to the areas that might be the B's or the C's or whatever.
Can I show you one more thing? I forgot to grab it before I sat down, but I can't wait to send some to you. Can you hang on a second?
Yes, absolutely. Yes.
Okay, hang on.
If there's couples out there that are struggling to find ideas and that kind of stuff, they listen to the episode, which I'm going to link in here, of Susan Bratton talking about the bucket list, the sexual bucket list. And she asked us so many questions. I don't remember how many questions of things that, would you try this or would you not?
Yeah, we didn't go through all 40 something, but we got
whatever it is. But we go through all those questions, and I'm sure she has it on her site where you listen to those questions and think about, is that something that I would do? And you do it together with your partner, and that way you feel a little bit more comfortable because it wasn't your idea; it was Suzanne's idea. She's the bad person.
Yes, well, that's what I'm saying. When we do try her techniques, I'll be calling her names. I'm like, yes, Suzanne.
So that's it.
I can still hear you guys.
We're blaming you for all the. You're like the little. There's an angel on the shoulder and a devil on the shoulder.
So, but she's both though. She's angelic and devilish.
Yeah,
and I think that's what you need in couples. You need to have an open mind to all these things and say, why not try? Like we get asked so many times on our socials, how many times do you guys have sex? Are you actually all over each other like this? I'm like, yeah, we're always like this. Like we're constantly making love in so many different ways.
Absolutely. So
that's why it works.
Okay, I'm back.
Here you are.
Thank you. Okay.
So excited. I love you.
All right, you ready?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Okay. So I want to show you something that I'm calling my pleasure protocol. And I discovered a company. Now, I've been recommending, people ask me all the time, what kind of lube should I use? And the best thing that I could come up with over the years was to recommend organic avocado oil, organic refined avocado oil, because it's all natural. If you wouldn't put it in your mouth, you shouldn't put it on your genitals because it's mucous membrane. I didn't want any kind of chemicals in there. And then I discovered this company called Foria, like Euphoria.
Yeah.
And they have CBD and MCT oil based, basically sex oils and things like that. And they have 3 things that I use together as a protocol. I call it the pleasure protocol. And I have it at pleasureprotocol.com.
Yeah.
And there's 3 pieces to it. So I'm going to show you all 3, and then I'm going to tell you how I use them. And then I'm also going to send these to you.
I can't wait.
So this is what's called the Awaken oil.
Okay.
And the Awaken oil is that, remember when I was talking about the mind-body connection and how the more of the vulva you activate with the different types of tools and toys, the more that you actually feel more pleasure. What the Awaken oil does is it uses botanicals to awaken the vulva, the clitoris, the hood of the clitoris, the mons, the outer labia, the inner labia, the vestibule, the opening to the vagina, etc. And it's not a lube, it's literally called Awaken. It lights up the brain. So you put a little bit of that right on the outer genital system. Before you start, you put on something called melts, 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 if you're going to have intercourse or do any kind of penetration in the vagina. And they also have booty melts. So if you're going to do anal pleasuring, the booty melts are fantastic. And the reason that I love these is that you pop it in and it melts up inside, and they're cocoa butter.
Looks like
and the cocoa butter, and they have CBD in them. And then the booty melts also have jojoba oil in them. And the jojoba oil is much richer. And so instead of trying to get lube up inside, you just pop this little melt in, and it coats the whole vaginal mucosal lining or the rectal lining. And then you use their sex oil, as your glide, as much glide and slide as you want. Because some people are like, wow, I'm plenty lubricated and I don't really need any. Others are like, oh, dump that stuff on, daddy. I need as much as I can get. And so these three things
do you
together.
pump it in
So
right away, or do you like before, or how long does that take? Like,
it doesn't take long at all to melt because
no?
it's just cocoa butter.
Okay.
But often, if I know I'm going into a lovemaking session, I will just pop it in as I get out of the shower or what have you, and it just kind of coats everything. You can always add another one if you want even more,
Okay.
you know, emolliency and more of that melty feeling. And what I have noticed is that my husband loves the way it feels. So when he's making love to me and he enters me, he's like, oh, you used a melt. And I'm like, yeah, I did.
You definitely need some of those.
So I love it. So, and then they have for women who need more relief, if they're super dry or they're feeling laxity or thinning of tissue, they have the relief version. So they got the booty melts, they've got relief, and they've got these, you know, the intimacy melts. The relief have double the CBD. And what I like about CBD is that CBD, which is a phytocannabinol, it's cannabinoids from the hemp plant, and they mimic our endocannabinoid system. And our endocannabinoid system is our healing pleasure pathway. Wow. So the relief melts are super nice. And then because women love them so much, they came out with a line called Vibrance. And Vibrance, I put one in almost every day. I just pop it in the morning. When I'm putting in my estrogen cream, I just pop one in and it just feels so nice. You get to the point where you're like, I just like the way it feels to be so moist in there and lubricated. Right. It just feels wonderful. And you can go down on her with these in. There's nothing in them that you can't eat. They're very, very clean.
Yeah. I was going to ask you that the same thing about the other ones too, that if you put them before sex and if there's oral, are we eating it?
You will get some in your mouth and it tastes like almost like chocolate because it's cocoa butter.
Yeah.
It's cocoa butter, CBD, and botanicals. Right. So it smells good, it tastes good, but it stays up in there, which is what I like. So, and the booty melts are fantastic for backdoor play. And in the last year, have really been having a lot more anal pleasuring. And I'll tell you, I love it. I mean, it just feels so good. Once you kind of get used to that, try it 3 times. And the 4th one, you're going to be like, oh, that feels so good. Oh my God. Like that's how it feels. So you just have to give things a try. There's nothing wrong with it. All these things are good for you. There's nothing you have to worry about. It's a lot of fun to experience and you'll feel good because you're mastering something that's going to keep you healthy and happy your whole life long.
Which is the key, healthy and happy. And, you get to be closer to your partner. Well, yes. I'm going to have to listen to this episode a few times just to take it all in because there's so much I learned today. It's amazing.
Good.
Let's see what technique we're going to use this time with calling your name.
I love it. Please do.
Well, as usual, thank you. You're gorgeous. And you, for some reason, you're just getting younger and younger every time we talk to you and see you. So whatever you're doing is working, obviously.
If you want to, but
I was just going to say, I think it's the sunset. The California sunset, the light is coming in on my window in my office. Oh. And that lighting is so beautiful out here. You're coming out to San Diego to visit me, right?
I am, 100%. I told you we are. We're coming. The minute
I know.
I'm calling you. And we have to see you. But no, I think it's more than just a sunlight. I think you are very happy and it's glowing from inside out, which I love. And I admire and I look up to you. So when I'm 62, I'm like, fuck it, I'm looking like Susan.
Hell yes. Yeah.
Yeah, baby.
At the end of every show, where can people find you? What's your credentials and all that stuff so we can put out there?
Yeah, of course. Let's see. We talked about quite a few things. I just want to review those. Sexlifebucketlist.com is where you get the download of all erotic play dates and that comes with a video where I walk you through everything. then watch or listen to Roger and Nina's episode where I walk them through it because it's fun to hear them have the experience. The orgasmic cross training, like what are the tools to activate my vulva or my prostate? Those are at orgasmiccrosstraining.com. The Soulmate Embrace that I talked briefly about is at soulmateembrace.com. The Foria line is at pleasureprotocol.com. And I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Oh, the Aneros. It's called the Aneros Vice 2, the number 2, Vice 2. That's the one with the remote control with the zhuzh. So I think those are.
We have all that for them. Yeah.
So, but are these all on your website as well?
Those are. No, I mean, if you want to find me, I'm at betterlover.com, and I have a sex tips newsletter where this is the kind of stuff that I talk about. You can sign up at betterlover.com. You can also follow me on Instagram, and I also have an OnlyFans. So you can get to those from moresusan.com. That's a good place to kind of find all my stuff. More Susan. If you want more Susan, you got her.
That's what we want. We want more Susan because she's more enlightened, more fun, and more knows everything. I love it. I love having you on the show again. This will not be the last time.
We love watching your Instagrams, all that kind of stuff that you put out there, and it's informative, and it sometimes it just reminds us, oh yeah, we gotta do that kind of stuff.
A lot of times we'll be on TikTok Live, and people will ask us, how do we do this? Do you got? I'm like, I'll forward you Susan's information. I'm your Instagram because I'm like, she knows everything. Why not learn from the best?
Thank you.
So you are amazing.
So nice to see you.
Try all that stuff you're talking about as well.
Yes.
Good. Yeah, I want to hear how things go and what you did decide to try. I want to see if Nina's a little brat like I think she is.
She definitely is. I'll speak to her on her behalf.
We know, we know. Great. Well, happy Valentine's Day. Love to you both. Mwah. Have a great day.
Thank you, gorgeous. And say hello to Tip for us. Wow. If you enjoyed this episode of the podcast, please hit subscribe and give us a 5-star rating on whichever platform you're tuning in from.
It means the world to us to have your support on our show in this little mini way.
You can also stalk us on Instagram at Head Over Heels Show for more juicy stuff.
If you have any questions, send them via email at us@hohshow.com or DM us on socials.
Thank you for having us between your ears. And as always, we wish you what we have.